in Weiss as well. All right, Jaden Rashada. He has been released from his national letter of intent to Florida. This was a matter of time. This was just going to happen. It was a matter of, like, was it going to be today, this weekend, next week? He has been released. We know about what is the mess that was his NIL agreement or whatever that was. How quickly do you think somebody will sign him to enter wherever they're going to play, wherever he's going to play next? You think his phone blew up pretty quickly? Or do they not want to be any part of this?
I think there's probably some that, know that they can't afford to be, even though it'll probably be cheaper than $13 million, because clearly that's tough to come up with.
Always has been.
But, I could have told you that just in general about life, not even regarding this situation. But, there will be people who call him right back. I'm curious about Miami. It's John Ruiz, right, Craig? That's the LifeLock guy?
Sure,
yeah.
Yeah.
So in one of the columns I read about Jaden Rashada, somebody had reached out to him and asked him what he thought, because he was involved in trying to get Jaden Rashada locked and loaded into Miami. And when it all fell apart, he said, look, it's clear that the people in this collective don't really know how to run a business or how to do this, which, I guess you can say he's better at that than they are. But the tone I got from him is he was a little miffed that it got to this point with Miami and that Rashada left. So I do think that Mario Cristobal, based on the quarterback they signed, which is a guy who's rated much lower than Jaden Rashada, would get back into it. But I think there'll be some people that you wouldn't even expect will get in it because, they never thought they had a shot, or there's a new coach, or, why not? Why not just give a call to this guy if he might be interested in it? And, there's some teams that'll be out of it. Like Ole Miss was in on him before. Well, I think with Walker Howard, that kind of takes them out of Jaden Rashada now. And A&M was in on Jaden Rashada, but they signed Marcel Reed, so I would think that takes them out of it, because you've got people on that same exact level with the same exact eligibility left, more or less. So I don't know if you'd want to, crowd up the room like that.
He'll have people talking to him, of course. He's a big-time quarterback. If he's worth $13 million in the eye of one school, then absolutely there's going to be others that are going to come calling. But like Paul said, there's a lot of things that have happened since then. You've hired new coaches. You've hired new assistants. You've picked up other commitments and signed other guys now at this point. There's another signing day coming up here pretty soon, but in comparison to the first one, it's wildly quieter. And I know there's, still some big decisions to be made, but most of the quarterbacks are taken at this point. So, I would imagine that as we get closer to spring ball and get on the other side of it, that there will be plenty of needs for quarterbacks, and he'll be right there near the top of the list, so long as he and his people aren't enough of deterrence or their demands or whatever they may be looking for, because he's obviously had big money thrown at him, not real money, but money thrown at him figuratively. And I think that probably skews your expectations a little bit about what you think you're worth or what you're going to be expecting the next go-around. So we'll see, but there will certainly be a demand. Whether or not it's, the juice is worth the squeeze, ultimately, I'm sure there will be some schools that are like, yeah, no, we'll just go a different direction and not worry about this. But, there probably will be somebody out there that's just desperate enough or has got enough money in the collective or just enough of a need at quarterback that, they feel like this guy can be the difference maker, and they'll throw, 6 figures or whatever it is at him. But certainly anybody would be – I think anybody throwing 7 figures at any prospect is just stupid. But, I can get it if it's like a multi-year deal. Even then, I feel like that's stretching it a little bit. But he'll find a landing spot, there's no doubt. But I am also very curious to see where that could be and what that NIL ends up ultimately looking like.
Dennis Dobb will join us here momentarily. A couple more headlines to get to before our first break.